Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast episode with USM students. This week, we have two guest speakers from USM, Farah and Sophia. They are here today with us to share about their research on the topic of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements. Before we continue any further, could our guest speakers please introduce themselves to the audience?
Hi everyone, so glad to be here. I'm Farah and I'm a senior student from the English Language and Literature course. Thanks for having me today.
Hello everyone, I am Sophia, a development study student, also from USM. It feels great to be here, honestly.
Right, thank you for being here today. So, thank you so much. So we're all here today to talk about the issue of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements. As we all know, it's a prevalent social issue in today's society, both locally and abroad. But question is, how can we identify them? It can be quite difficult to identify these narratives within these flashy advertisements. Yeah, Farah, could you perhaps enlighten us more about how you would identify these instances of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements?
First, I would like to express my gratitude again for having me today. And I agree that gender inequality is prevalent in today's society. As for how I would identify the instances, it would be through the use of the multimodality approach, which analyzes the genre, settings, characters, as well as the sounds which are applied in the advertisements.
Thank you, Farah. The multimodality approach sounds very interesting indeed. The four categories that you mentioned sound especially interesting, but we will get back to that in a bit. Moving on, what about you, Sophia? Would you use the same approach as Farah does, or do you have a different approach in mind?
Alright, as for me, a Van Wins fan, nah, I'm just kidding. I will be using a social semantic approach, focusing on the social actors in three categories, which are activation, passivation, and appraisement.
Nice. So the two of you have different approaches to identifying gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements. That's great because it provides us here today with different perspectives to work with. Speaking of different perspectives, we should have a look at the videos that we are working with today before we dive deeper into your analysis. Farah, could you please tell us a bit about them?
There are actually two videos that I really like, both produced by Pantene, the popular shampoo brand. The videos are very interesting as it includes the Wanita Besi campaign that can be translated as Women of Steel. The purpose of this campaign is to increase awareness regarding the gender inequality in the sports context. Hence, the featuring of the major sports icon such as Farah and Katrina and Nur Suryani. I personally am a very big fan of Farah N's video titled Pantene Braids of Strength featuring Farah N. The videos discusses her struggle as a gymnast in the Malaysian society. As we all know, she was once criticized for her costume that is said to be revealing and unfitting for a Malaysian woman. I mean, she is a gymnast. What do people expect her to wear? And then in another video, a similar story is told from Nur Suryani's perspective, our country's professional shooter. In a video titled Pantene Braids of Strength featuring Nur Suryani, she was discouraged from her dreams to be in field and continue competing as she is deemed as incapable and unfit due to her pregnant state.
Ah, I see. I think I can see how these videos are related to our question for today, especially since the slogan Wanita Bersih clearly reflects gender issues. We will get back to that in a bit as well. I think that there are a couple more videos that we are working with. Sophia, could you share more about them with us?
Okay, thank you, Jason. One of the videos is titled Ini Iklan Raya Tau, which is Julie's biscuit advertisement that highlights the stereotypical gender norms for women in Malaysian society while challenging them with the radical side ideas to transform the gender norm. There's also another video titled Kotak's She Can short film, Siti Fatima. It follows the journey of Siti Fatima in a male-dominated field, which is motorsport. Her hardships such as comment discriminating on her attire, emotional turmoil due to the loss of the first baby, and how she brings herself up after is so inspiring for me.
I see. Thank you, Farah and Sophia, for sharing with us a brief overview of the four videos that we are working with today. I'm sure this will really help give our audience a clear picture of what we are working with. For convenience, I think it'd be great to label these videos so that we know which videos we are referring to in the following discussion. So video 1 will be the Pantene's video featuring Farah Ann. Video 2, also a Pantene ad, would be featuring Nur Suryani. Video 3, the Julie Soraya advertisement. And lastly, video 4 would be the Cortex advertisement featuring Siti Fatima. All right, next, Farah, could you perhaps tell us a bit more about these 4 categories under multimodality that you mentioned earlier? How do these specific categories apply to the 4 videos that we are looking at today? And how do they reveal gender inequality present in these videos?
Thank you for the questions, Jason. Regarding those, the use of the genre, the setting, character, and sound, which I have mentioned previously, helps brands in communicating their message more efficiently, and this can be seen by how each specific categories play a role in the videos. Firstly is the genre. From our findings, we found that the videos feature multiple stages to portray gender inequality, and such can be seen in videos 1 and 4, where both videos use narrative, recounting events for video 2 and projecting possible worlds in video 3. Next, in terms of the setting, gender inequality can be seen to be emphasized or perpetuated using cultural spaces like gymnasiums in video 1, shooting range for video 2, domestic spaces like house and the kitchen for video 3, as well as the racing circuit for video 4. The use of these cultural spaces give us the context of the gender inequality happening in the video, as gymnasiums can be linked to gymnasts who are often criticized for their costumes, and the racing circuit and the shooting range spaces were used to indicate a non-traditional space for women, while domestic spaces were used to give an emphasis on traditional gender roles between men and women in video 3. Now, apart from that, the characters used in the video give us the gender inequality portrayal mainly using the biological participants such as females, who are seen most major in all 4 videos, which are important as they are needed in the portrayal of women who suffers the most in terms of the gender inequality issues, and males in video 3 as it fits the gender role portrayal in the context of the video. Apart from the biological element, we can also observe it using the generic and specific characters. Generic characters are mostly seen in video 3, which gives exposure to how women and men play their respective traditional gender roles in Malaysian society. And the use of generic characters even suggested even further that the action is normalized in the Malaysian society, while the use of specific characters in the videos like videos 1, 2, and 4 is needed to provide an awareness to viewers as the struggles of the specific characters are known nationwide, that resulting in the credibility of their struggles and uplift others who have similar stories but are unknown. And last but not the least is sound. There are multiple types of sounds that are used in the videos to evoke the audience's emotions according to the context of the video. While sound usually does not play a direct role in terms of communicating the gender inequality issue portrayed by all of the videos. However, the use of sounds, such as unpleasant sounds, can evoke gloomy mood, help in communicating the message even better to the targeted audience.
Wow, that was a very in-depth explanation. Your analysis based on genres, settings, characters, and sound in the videos really highlight how gender inequality is portrayed in each one. Moving on, Sophia, now that we have heard all about multimodality, back to you. How does the social semantic approach, or SSA, and the 3 categories you mentioned work with the 4 videos, and how do they reveal instances of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements?
Okay, overall, we will focusing on the social actors, which is mainly women that face gender discrimination and inequality from Malaysia society. In video 1, 2, and 4, there is a similar theme where a prominent sport woman has her life story told and they are activated and passivated in their respective stacks. There is also both positive and negative appraisement for the social actor in these videos. These similarities highlights the social actors' struggle in their respective field and their strength to overcome the discrimination that they face from the oppressive voice of Malaysian patriarchal society. Of course, activation, passivation, and appraisement are present in video 3 as well, but the style of the text is slightly different from the other three videos. In video 1, 2, and 3, social actors such as Farhan, Nurserani, and Fatima were activated with lines such as, "You have shown us all how to be strong. I was focused. I got back up, trained harder, pushed ahead, and wrote faster." The activation of these social actors highlights the gender inequality which they face throughout their careers. For video 3, the social actors in each scenes were activated by speaking up on the roles that were assigned to them, such as in the lines, "If my kids can come to me, why can't I go to them? Why can't I talk to her about other things?" Moving on to the passivation, the social actors in video 1, Farah was passivated with the lines such as, "But her gymnast outfit is getting more attention than her victory." The social actor in video 2, Nurserani was passivated in line, "At 8 months, Nurserani Taibi become the most pregnant athlete to ever compete in the games." The social actor in the video 4 was passivated with the line, "Being an easy target." All of these passivation for the social actors in video 1, 2, and 4 are similar, in which they are showing the oppression as women who are competing in sports while focusing on their gender. Okay, for video 3, the social actors were passivated with the lines such as, "Why can't I talk to her about other things? Now I want tears to fall from your left eye." This shows that the passivation imposed towards the women in video 3 are related to the socially expected feminine traits of women. Overall, the passivation of the female characters further highlights the gender discrimination which they face. Next, for the appraisement, the women are both positively appraised and negatively appraised in the video. Example of positive appraisement of the female character in the video can be seen through the use of words like strong, fearless, unstoppable, while the negative appraisement can be seen through lines such as hard and vulnerable. So in short, the positive appraisement highlights the strength and perseverance of the female social actors, while the negative appraisement mainly comes from the gendered societal views, which reflect the prevalent gender inequality in Malaysian society.
Well, thank you, Sophia. Your explanation on the categories of social semantic approach was very enlightening. Very interesting approaches from both of our guest speakers for today. As a brief recap, the multimodality approach looks at the moving images in videos, while the social semantic approach uses textual analysis to unravel the examples of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements. Based on what the two of you have said today, I think we can conclude that both the multimodality and social semantic approach work hand in hand to clearly highlight the implicit and explicit instances of gender inequality present in Malaysian advertisements. This research is great so far, but are there any limitations to it? Farah, perhaps you could share your thoughts on the matter?
I agree that the research has been great so far. However, it could be better as there are limitations to it, and one of them is, in my opinion, the data. The research only concludes its finding using 4 videos, which only consists of a few industries that do not provide enough representation of gender inequality in the Malaysian advertisement section.
So there are limitations since we are working with such limited materials this time around. 4 videos alone aren't enough to fully represent and study the issue of gender inequality in Malaysian advertisements. However, I'm sure others can use what we have said here today and improve on the relevant research. Speaking of possible improvements, are there any avenues for future research perhaps, Sophia?
Of course, for me, the future avenues for such research might employ the use of other critical discourse approach using other material to provide a varying perspective on the social issue and a better understanding of the social factor which influence the whole gender inequality issue in Malaysia.
I see. Well, thank you, Sophia and Farah. It looks like that will be all for today. I'm sure that your research has really benefited our audience for today. Once again, thank you for coming and goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.